was that? What? What's that sound? Where? It's aliens and they're living in your town. Damn. They have arrived. What? They're all around. So many aliens living in your town.
Hello, all my quarantine weirdos out there who are just going insane being stuck at your house. How the hell are you doing?
Glad to be stuck at your house for a little while.
Stir crazy.
Yeah, oh my goodness. And I mean, just so y'all know, seconds before the podcast started, a fight broke out between Vicky and Beckett. It was pretty crazy. It was pretty intense. Denny's was uncomfortable. Producer Birdney was uncomfortable. Now, here's the debate. Beckett, you were talking about the person you're dating. Mm-hmm. She sneezed, and she sneezed right in her hand.
Yeah, I think that's a break-upable offense because if there's no hand sanitizer and you sneeze into your hand, you're risking basically infecting everyone.
That's a break-upable offense?
I think it says a lot about a person's personality.
See, I sneeze in my shirt.
Yeah.
I just pull it forward and I sneeze right down there.
Yeah, my shirt's going to get washed at the end of the day, and I'm not touching door handles. I'm not, nothing's being touched with my sleeve.
I'm a shirt sneezer.
Mm-hmm.
So
when you
Vicky,
go to open a door that you don't have to use your hand, you're telling me you're not going to use your elbow or your arm or something where your shirt might come in contact.
What I've actually started doing has been wearing long sleeves, and if I'm not wearing long sleeves, I somehow grab part of my shirt and use that to open the door.
Exactly my point. You
Not
just sneezed down your shirt.
Not my elbow part of my shirt, though.
But you just sneezed down your shirt a minute ago.
Yeah, I did sneeze inside my shirt so not to infect anyone else with any possible contaminants.
Vicky, are you trying to say that you are pro sneeze in the hand versus the shirt?
Well, to me, logically, okay, I'm just coming from a logical standpoint. I've always had a problem with sneezing into your arm because more than likely you're going to sneeze into your clothing, okay? If I sneeze into my hand, I can immediately, hopefully, go to either a sink and wash my hands, or I can use hand sanitizer. If I have it on my sleeve or my arm, even when I go to wash my hands, I probably will forget to go all the way up here, although at school I do, all the way up here and wash. So to me, it's more, and to me, you can catch it better if your hands are cupped and then you go and immediately use hand sanitizer or wash your hands. That's just me. That's just my opinion.
Now, this is a topic very near and dear to my heart because I was called out on KVJ TV yesterday for sneezing in my hand, and I'm kind of more on the side of Vicky. Sneezing in your shirt and in your elbow, I kind of find that grosser and easier to transmit your sneezable disease. Wash your hands immediately.
Right. Or if you have hand sanitizer or a wipe or something like that.
Denny's, are you team Beckett? Or are you team Vicky and Bird?
Well, I see both points. But I sneeze into my own shirt.
He's team Switzerland is what he
Yeah.
is.
No.
Well, I sneeze into my own shirt.
You
So I feel like I do my part. And then, nobody touches my stomach.
So you're team Beckett. All right.
Well, as long as we've been friends, I've never touched your inner elbow.
There was that one time he came close, but he didn't.
That's right.
All right, so here's what we got. We have two camps going on. We have Beckett and Denny's. Beckett, bitch boy Beckett versus Denny's. We have Vicky.
Well, I think we're on the same team.
You and Beckett are. Yeah. You and Beckett versus me and Vicky. And me and Vicky are saying sneeze in your hands. Beckett and Denny's is saying sneeze in your elbow. Who is right?
Well, I think Birdney's the tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Birdney?
Hold
Hold on. We can't. We can't even hear you. In the chat room, let us know right now. Are you team Bitch Boy Beckett and Denny's? Are you team Vicky and Jay Bird? Sneeze in your hands.
What if somebody falls in front of you and you catch them and now you've sneezed all over your hands? And that was involuntary reaction.
That's right. You offered to get us a water or a beer or something earlier. You couldn't grab that with your elbow.
Just real quick, yes or no? Beckett, Denny's, Vicky, Jay Bird.
I'm on Team Beckett.
Wow, Vicky.
That's fine. But, we are the two oldest ones. And that's probably why, because we were taught to sneeze into our hands and then wash our hands.
Since you're the oldest ones, you have the most to worry about.
Damn, Beckett.
Ooh.
This
I feel a sneeze coming on.
This son of a bitch is going to be ageist in my own damn home, Vicky. Sicky Vicky. All right. I love it, though. Okay. Let us know in the chat room. Break the tie. Is it Bitch Boy Beckett's team or Sicky Vicky? So update on the whole ghost thing. People are asking, Vicky, when is the ghost thing going to air on the Travel Channel?
Right. As soon as they get back to me, they'll give me an air date. I did notice that they released new episodes in March because they've been playing them, and I checked the dates, and they have released new ones in March. I have a feeling it's going to be on this season's lineup. But I don't. He will. There was the delay because you and I hadn't done some of the paperwork, and so we had to do the paperwork.
I didn't do the paperwork. I swear to God, I did it though, Vicky.
Well, I didn't do the one form.
All right, so we're both guilty. I
because
love
I couldn't
it.
sign. It wouldn't let me sign it. So we're
Okay.
innocent. We're both innocent.
All right, so it will be coming up. We will let you guys know. Big question people keep asking.
Yeah, because the production is still going on because they're working from their homes, so they can still take our interview, slice and dice it, and put it in with the footage, and still make it on the air.
So, as an update for my ghost situation, I feel like we are in a shadow people kind of realm right now.
Oh.
Yes. I keep on seeing shadow people scamper by in my bedroom, down my hallway, down my stairs. So I was hoping you could tell the people exactly what are shadow people.
Well, there's some debate in the paranormal field as to what a shadow person really is. Some people believe that a shadow person is just a human spirit. Some people believe it's a human spirit that has more to atone to on the other side, and that's why they appear as shadow people. Some people believe that they are demonic. Some people believe that they are aliens and not even human spirits. So there's a whole lot of debate in the paranormal field as to what their actual origins are.
Are shadow people considered shady?
Oh, Beckett.
I've been cooped up
By
for
the
a long
way,
time.
you can laugh. You can laugh full gorilla. Chewy's up in his little safe
Okay.
space room.
I like it.
Were people complaining about the TV sound, Birdney?
No, we could just hear it.
Yeah, it was pretty loud.
Do you think that there's going to be more haunts? Because based on what I've learned with Vicky, is like a lot of times there is a haunt because there's unfinished business or someone trying to communicate something or not ready to pass. And, based on the context or the circumstances around someone's death via corona, it could have been because there wasn't enough ventilators or whatever the scenario was. There's a lot of people passing. I mean, that's the hard reality of the situation. Do we think that there's going to be a big bump up in haunts potentially, maybe?
There's a lot of documentation that shows that when you have like mass death, that you do have a lot more activity. But here's the thing, the documentation for that might be a little skewed because we have a lot of people who are staying at home. So as they're staying at home, they might be paying a little more attention to their surroundings. And even though, let's just say they had activity the whole time, they weren't home to see it. Now they're home to see it. So it would be kind of hard to determine, is this new activity or has this been going on all the time?
Right.
You just weren't home to see it.
Getting back to the whole shadow people thing, that is one of the most common emails I get. People dealing with shadow people. Why is that? Why is that so common?
It's just, it seems to be a form that spirits will often show themselves in. Now, when you say shadow people, is there anything distinctive about it? Are they wearing
Yes.
anything extra?
So what it looks like, basically, it looks like somebody would be in a black leotard or a unitard over their head,
Okay.
and they're moving kind of in a lanky, skinny way,
Okay.
if that makes sense, kind
Yeah.
of like that. And they, when they bend their knees almost like they are on either a trampoline or a what's that one thing, the bouncy
Stairmaster.
Like the pogo thing.
yeah, pogo thing. Very lanky, big in movement, and then their ending move is to disappear almost kind of like in a kind of form, if that makes sense.
Would you say they're fairly tall? And
Yes, they are tall.
Okay, that actually fits more in the description of what some people have identified as aliens.
Oh, shit. Well, if aliens ever wanted to visit, I'd be the son of a bitch to visit. But alien, so a shadow person, alien, there's a correlation to that?
There are some people that believe that. In fact, there's a few episodes of The Dead Files and Amy Allen, who I love, when she's gone into homes and they have identified something that sounds very similar to what you just said. She has said that they are actually aliens.
Do you think that?
It's possible.
But do you think shadow people are just ghosts too?
I have found that shadow people, the ones that I've encountered on investigations, are just negative human spirits.
So not
Nothing
aliens.
special. Yeah.
It's basically a degenerate ghost.
Yeah, but your
Degenerate ghost, bitch.
but your description actually does fit into
Alien.
yeah.
Oh gosh, Vicky. There's no
According
way.
to Amy Allen.
There's no way it's an alien. I couldn't be that lucky. There's no way.
What
I
would
want
happen-
it so bad.
What would happen if an alien died on Earth and its spirit still possessed, the area that it passed?
We talked about this.
Well, so as if it doesn't actually pass to the next life, it becomes another form.
I love it. We got some new listeners today. So Vicky, if you want to handle that question, the alien ghost question. Very
the alien
common.
ghost question. I mean, as far as my comment, I said anything's possible. I mean, if they have a soul the way that we think of a soul, and if they have another side the way we have the other side, yeah, if something happens to them here, they could get stuck here and not transition to what their other side is.
Yeah, because I used to watch, like Star Trek and such, and I always wondered, when they died on other planets, did they then belong to whatever that planet believed, or did they go on how they believe from their planet? Because you're dying in a foreign area, and sometimes quadrants of the galaxy that are unexplored.
All day long, this cat has been deep and on point with his questions. He's bringing up so many great. Denny's, you got my vote.
Yeah, oh, thanks. I mean, let that one sit with you then.
Vicky, thoughts? Beckett?
I mean, it's completely just a...
Yeah, no.
I
I think it would make sense that you would stay in that realm unless you were somehow able to get back on the ship. But they were able to teleport back then, so you think maybe they could just teleport?
Yeah, well, so I'm saying the moment their spirit passes,
If I go
say
to-
it's on the planet, whether they actually bring their body back to a restful place, what if they died in a horrific manner?
Right.
And
If
then
I go,
haunted?
if I go to Mars and I die on Mars,
Are you going to haunt Mars?
that's a great question. Or am I going to haunt where I
Earth.
grew up?
Yeah, exactly, as a memory or some sort of like...
my man, bringing it.
But
Be a
wouldn't this
lonely
be
haunt.
an ironic twist if all this time all of your problems are actually alien-based instead of spirit-based?
Me, Vicky. Mm-hmm. Oh my god,
That would be interesting. Or the fact that you keep hearing the whistling or whatever, and we think that your closet area might possibly be a vortex. The last thing that came through left it open, and now you got all kinds of things coming through there.
So just so people know, if you are listening for the first time, my closet area, and it seems to everywhere I live, my closet area is kind of a vortex or a portal. Two of the other places, it was my closet. I've got right now going on where when I'm sleeping, it feels like someone's tickling really quick in my ribs. Almost, they got really long hot dog fingers. And then I will hear, I can't whistle. So I'm really bad at whistle, but can somebody whistle here?
I'll teach you how to whistle.
Thank you. Woo. And then, like a really calm, still voice goes, "Jason, wake up." Woo. Jason, wake up. And I wake up like someone's ripping me out of my sleep. That's what's going on. But you think that could be alien-like?
I'm just saying that the description of what you just said matches some episodes that Amy Allen identified as aliens.
What if,
Alright.
what if that's a repressed memory?
Of them aliens just straight up.
Right.
You with hot dogs.
I can't. Yeah. And the ribs ain't the only place those hot dogs were at.
For real.
Well, based on the song that you guys made, that's our intro into the podcast, and based on some other stories that I've heard, that butt play is usually a hallmark of an alien. And
Well, if for them it's butt work. That's like their job.
They get paid for those back then.
Yeah, they're not doing it for the love of the game.
and as far as you've described, there hasn't been any incidents of that.
But is it suppressed, Beckett? Or
Butt play?
oppressed? Suppressed.
Do you have suppressed butt play?
Am I blocking it? I said am I oppressed? I meant suppressed. I don't know. Am I blocking? Vicky, am I blocking butt play? I don't know.
You're alien cock blocking.
Beckett clearly broke the rules. Yes, kids are listening while they're quarantined.
18 and over.
This is 18 and over.
As the kids are learning this very second.
The other thing I wanted to ask you, Vicky, can ghosts steal from people? Because I am missing a lot of my shit. And I get that I'm flighty normally. I swear to you, I have been better. I've been trying to put my. Are you looking at me like okay? I've been better, Vicky.
Okay.
There's been some shit that I should not be losing. That I'm losing. Can ghost steal stuff to make people go crazy?
Yes. Well, that's one of the things we actually have on our point interview. Do you have items that are missing? Do they remain missing? Do they turn up in another room and you know you didn't do that? Yes, they can manipulate objects. They can also, like, the objects will completely disappear from your home. Some people believe they go to the other side, wherever these entities are from, and then at random moments it will return. It kind of reminds me of that scene in the original Poltergeist when the living room thing and then all those watches, and there's like all different time periods of the things that come through that portal at that time. So it's absolutely possible. In your case, I would say it's totally 100% to mess with you. Like, not like they want you to lose your mind.
They want me to.
Yes.
But bitches, you ain't gonna make me lose my mind. I'm strong. Sorry, Vicky.
I'm used to it. It's not a big deal.
The ghost taunting.
The other thing people are asking, a lot of great ghost questions. Can a shadow person or a ghost or a spirit, can they, and I'm kind of asking this too, only because, and I'm not trying to be inappropriate right now, but the last week, and maybe it's the quarantining, I have been 16-year-old horny to the point where I'm like, oh my gosh, can a ghost manipulate things to make one have stirrings or urges?
Like
to the-
light candles. Spray fragrance.
Maybe I walk in, there's a bubble bath.
You're like, oh, this is nice.
And Yanni or Kenny G's playing.
Go on, though. I didn't
I
didn't mean to do it.
By the way, I cannot stand Kenny G or Yanni.
Oh, dude.
No, but true question. Can a ghost make somebody more carnal in moments of, I don't know.
Yes, people do believe that. Basically, a lot of people in the field believe that if it's to that point, that it's not a human spirit that's doing it, that it's an incubus or a succubus.
Do I have a succubus trying to get a little bit of...
Well, if you go and look at the video footage...
If you're horny, you better hope so.
Yeah, because if we're dealing with a succubus, I'm pretty into this.
Well, if you go and look at the footage that is going to be on the Travel Channel, the second part of that footage, whatever that is, comes straight up from your midsection.
Yeah.
The head pops up right from your midsection. So
Yeah.
You're asking me? Yeah, it's possible.
Beckett, be honest.
Ghost Dome.
Do you have a bone piece right now?
Not yet. You're going to have to keep going.
Beckett's a texter, a prolific texter.
You're right.
He needs some
Yeah,
details.
text it to him.
Beckett has to sext a ghost for him to get a boner.
Talk about that bath again and text it to me.
All right, so that's an interesting thing. Ghosts can make somebody. I mean, I'm not. Who knows? Maybe the quarantine's got me more horny. I'm just saying. I feel like waking up, ghosts pulling me, waking up in the teenage sweats, the teenage hornies. Is it all connected?
Could be. I mean, the thing is, when we die, we retain our personality. So let's just say that you were very sexual when you were alive, you passed, and now you're hanging out with somebody. Yeah, you might do exactly what you did in life.
For the new listeners, what is, if I did have a succubus or a concubine or a porcupig?
Incubus. A concubine.
Concubine's totally
Yeah,
different. That's
that
not
would
my
be
area.
Pretty solid, though, right? I'm kidding.
What a succubus? What is that?
Succubus and incubus are both demonic entities that always attack people through sexual means. And it may appear to you at first, you may think that you have this really beautiful woman who's doing this to you. And then when you get a better look, it will change its form and it will be the hag. And a lot of times it's associated with people who have sleep paralysis.
Oh my gosh, I think I have a little bit of that.
It's all fun and games until you notice the succubus has an Adam's apple.
Yeah, I hear
I
you.
mean, he's controlling his laugh.
He is. That was suppressed
We're
laughter.
going to have to zoom in on that video.
All right, so Vicky, I might have a sexual being here.
What if it's just a randy ghost and you're confusing it with a succubus?
Right.
Well, what would be the difference?
Well,
I
one
think
of them's
one's-
not demonic.
One's demonic. I think the hag is doing that to suck your life force or something, right? Isn't the succubus gain something from it?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
they're stealing your energy.
is there a difference between a succubus and then a ghost that just?
I think Ghost is doing it for the love of the game.
Yeah.
All right.
'Cause
yeah.
he just
and both the succubus and the incubus are both demonic entities. That's a totally different thing from a human spirit.
It's like some 50 Shades stuff.
with the succubuses.
Because remember, demonic entities have an ultimate goal. Human spirits don't necessarily have a goal. They just keep doing what they were doing in life. But a demonic has a goal.
Well, let us know in the chat room. Have you guys ever been seduced or felt horny by a ghost? We'd love to hear from you. Tell us your story. I think it'd be great.
Yeah.
And with that said, with all of this hot talk, I think it's time to turn it around for some
Denny's Random Facts.
Well, thank you for passing it on over to me here, Barry.
Denny's. I mean, we just came off a real hot topic.
Oh, yes, it was very steamy. Let's see here. So I'm going to throw a couple. These are kind of just cool facts I found out, because we got the COVID going on, and it seems to be on everyone's mind, just to throw a couple, like, disease-related facts at you guys. But bats, they say, are immune to many diseases they carry because flying raises their metabolic rate to fever pitch, a level of excitement, sending their immune system into overdrive. So weirdly, they can carry a lot of diseases and not be infected by them because their body naturally fights it off.
Just like children.
Yes, bats are probably less annoying.
The bats of the human species.
That's crazy.
Just so you know, if you are new listening, Vicky, our educator, a great educator, she grades Denny's on these facts. She gives them an A if they're awesome, and F if they suck. Vicky, first fact, grade?
B for bats.
Damn.
Pretty
Yeah.
topical, bats carrying,
Yeah, it
originating.
doesn't wow me.
Maybe too topical, maybe pandering.
You're right. So here's another pandering one for you guys, just to kind of on the medical tip here. A meta study in 2017 with over 10,000 participants found that just a daily dose of vitamin D, meaning just going outside for a little bit, reduces the chance of contracting respiratory infections by 19%. It's an extra 20% you can get from just getting the sun.
I believe that.
Just a fun one for you guys. That was a freebie, if you will.
You seem underwhelmed, Vicky.
Well, because it's so
Yeah,
educational.
It's kind of mainstream. I mean, I already knew it. That's the problem.
Damn.
I'm going to give that C for common.
People forget vitamin C. People forget. That's why I remind them. All you gotta do is go outside.
That's sure.
All right, so here's some fun ones for you guys. I got the boring
All right,
ones.
so-
I do believe that vitamin D is one of the few vitamins that they have a tough time making synthetic. Like, it's effective in the pill form, but
Totally.
nothing replaces the vitamin D that you actually get from the sun.
That's all it takes.
Yeah.
What's the one with milk, Vicky? Vitamins.
It's calcium.
Yeah, there's calcium in there. And doesn't it have some?
It's got a little D up in
D.
it.
Yeah.
We got a little D up in milk.
Milk's got a little D.
Just a little D.
Yeah,
Right,
just
Dennis.
get a little bit of sun. 20 minutes.
Give us another mediocre fact.
So here's the fun ones. I was trying to educate you guys just because, I'm worried. You guys are out there in the world. But it's cool. Let's go to some fun ones here. So I found this, and it's kind of effed up, but, it's worth mentioning. There's a thing called the Hot Waitress Economic Index. It's an informal measure of the state of economy that is compiled by counting the number of attractive people working as waiters or waitresses. And it says, the reason that it works, the higher number of good-looking servers, the weaker the current state of the economy. It is assumed that attractive individuals generally do not have trouble finding higher-paying jobs in our economy. During poor times, however, they find themselves looking for jobs as waiters and waitresses. Weird, right?
That is weird.
Now it's pretty fucked up, but it's kind of cool, right? Weird.
Vicky?
B.
I don't know. I'm kind of thinking about it.
It's an odd one, right? That they even
I-
have an informal measurement.
Yeah,
It's kind of like the Waffle House.
Yeah, I'm just like marking it off just a little bit because it is effed up.
Yeah, it's totally effed up. I felt bad writing
Well,
it down.
think about it. If you had to order food from a business, a restaurant, and if it was normal times, I'd convince you guys to go to Twin Peaks, most likely. But if we were going to order...
Why would that be, Becca?
Why?
Because of their wings?
Because they have attractive servers.
But
all right.
but I don't want attractive servers. I want attractive food.
But when
Some people aren't trying to get laid when they want a burger.
I see the point you're making.
But
Go
that
on.
tip, that scale will get tipped if we're ordering delivery because we're quarantined. We wanted to order more like the healthiest
So you're saying
mama,
you tip-
grandma Italian food.
You tip on looks, is what you're telling me.
Who doesn't?
I think some
I
people.
tip on service.
All right.
Yeah, but
Vicky?
now there's no service. They're just
But
delivering.
We're just gonna have to go at it today. Hey,
So,
Yeah, you guys.
I want to explore this a little bit more. Let's go ahead and say there's no everything's normal right now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to still tell me you're tipping for looks, not service? And Vicky, are you tipping for looks, not service? Vicky, you have the first word.
I'm tipping on service. I could care less what I wouldn't want somebody looking like, have sores oozing and stuff like that. But I
It's
could
more
care
about
less.
cleanliness, not
Yeah,
looks.
as long as they're clean and neat and they get my food to me, that's all I care about.
Let me ask you this.
Would you tip them less though if they were uncleanly and such?
Probably not. Knowing me, I'd feel sorry for them that they didn't have the facilities to get cleaned up a little bit better. As long as, again, look at me. It's as long as I get my food and I get it in a timely manner. That's what I care about.
Let me ask you this. You got a handsome guy named Raul. He comes up, perfect service. It's great. He's beautiful looking. Do you tip him more versus Rocky from Port St. Lucie, who comes up, who's like, hey, Vicky. They both have great service.
Nope. I'm going to tip them the same as long as the service is the same.
What if Raul drops something, then turns around and gives you a wink?
It better not have been my food, or else I'm
That's
popping
different.
it down.
That's different. Now, Becky, let me ask you this now. Same situation. You've got a girl who's smoking hot versus a girl who's a 2. Both give great service. Does one get a bigger tip than the other? I want honesty.
So I can only speak from a guy's perspective. I think having worked in the service industry, you appreciate how hard working in the service industry is. So I think nowadays a 20% tip is unless something's bad.
You're not running for office. Answer the damn question. Hot girl versus a girl that's a 2.
Service good, I'm always giving 20%. Doesn't matter what
That's
they
not
look
the
like.
question.
But if they're attractive and it's good service, yeah, they get a little bit of a bump. Yeah.
Because they're hotter.
Yeah. Well, look, think about it. This is basic psychology. If we buy a car, no one buys a Prius because it looks pretty. People buy a Lambo or a Beamer because it looks pretty, right? They pay
Yeah.
extra money
Yeah,
for it,
they
right?
do. They pay more
They
money.
pay extra money for it. But if the goal is just getting point A to B, then you're like, hey, I'm going to pay 30 grand for that car. Like it's an effective, dependable car. But if it's pretty, I'm going to pay more for it, right? So if someone gives me an amazing service, it also depends the kind of restaurant you're at. If you're at like a nice steakhouse, great service, 20%, 25%.
The question, real quick, because I'm going to have Vicky counter that, because I can see her wanting to strangle you. Again, I just want to make sure we're clear here. The question is, if the service is both equal, one's hot, one's a 2, you give the money higher as a tip to the hotter girl.
Not always, but I think if there's maybe an extra
I'm
percentage
trying to backpedal.
Yeah.
percentage or two.
We got
in
your
there.
answer, Becky. All right, Vicky counter.
Okay, first of all, from a humanistic side, the pretty, you know what, is probably making a lot more money with a lot of different boyfriends, so you don't have to worry about her paying her bills because I'm sure somebody else is paying her bills. But the poor little number 2, okay, she has to work for her money and she has to pay her bills because nobody else is paying. So you should be paying for service. And your little car analogy, it ain't about necessarily what the car looks like. It's the engine that's in the car.
Oh yeah.
That's true. That's true. And that's a good point because it's more nuanced and like its repercussions down the line. And I totally agree with that 100%.
Okay.
I think, but I'm totally heterosexual. But if there's an attractive guy giving me better service, and he has a nice smile and he's good looking and yeah, hygiene, you put that in a different thing. Like I'm probably going to give a little better tip too.
Okay, so chat room.
Service with a smile.
Chat room, my computer's broke, so I can't see what you're saying, but I would like to get your opinion. This
So
is
that could be the question.
Yeah, are you on team, when it comes to tipping, do you tip higher to the person that's more attractive, or do you tip because of the service being better? The question is this. Let's not get this all confused here. You have 2 people that give the same exact awesome service. One
One's
is a
attractive.
10, one is a 2. Do you give a better tip because one's better looking?
Oh, we're just going to see who's honest out there.
Be honest.
And
It's a quarantine.
Beckett has said he's giving a higher tip to the 10. Vicky wants to strangle him. Denny's, where are you at with this?
I think people should be honest in the poll, but I think by nature people do tend to tip higher.
Even if
for
they're conscious.
attractive
For someone that's hotter.
For attractive people, yes.
Wow.
I think just
Do you?
I don't. But I'm real shrewd with my tipping.
He's
Not-
kind of
I'll always
tipping dick.
I'll always do an amount that I feel is fair. I'll
No,
never
yeah.
do less than 20%.
no,
but
when I say tipping dick, I'm just kidding. Denny's is a good tipper.
But and same with giving stars for service. I mean, if somebody's terrible, I hate to reward that behavior. They're gonna go around and then they yell at you when you give them a bad score, and you're like, well, you were watching television. I had a lady getting her nails done while she was driving me an Uber. She had a person sitting in the passenger seat doing her nails while she drove. And it was the fragrance was so strong. It smelled like, you know how hair salons smell. It was insane. I was like, you're driving a car.
I mean,
All that, I gave her a 1 because it was terrible.
how do you not give Denny's an A for that? Look what that just sparked. I mean, that was a crossfire between
Okay,
Vicky
fine.
and Betty.
I brought that one up because I knew that I couldn't believe it when I read it. But yeah, it's kind of like the Waffle House thing, where if a Waffle House it is open still, it's not that big of a deal. It's just another informal measurement.
I bet if we started a company with everything going on and quarantining that was hot girl delivery, I guarantee the tips would be bigger.
Well, they got Boober.
No, hold on now. Not if that's not true. If the service was consistently shitty and all they're doing is holding on to their looks and that's their driving force, it's good for the novelty. I'm telling you, man, I am such a delivery guy and I love hot chicks. But if I'm delivering and I'm spending money and these hot chicks keep on forgetting my fucking sauce,
Yeah.
I'm going with the ugly dudes.
Well, it's fair. Let's control for service. So it's equal service. A girl or the poor random guy that's been delivering for years, right? If it's equal level of service, like you said from the outset, a level 10 delivery service, right?
Yes.
And one is hot girls and one is normal, I guarantee the hot girls are getting better tips.
Yeah, because people
Or
are
hot
shallow like
guys.
you.
Or you're banking on the shallowness of America.
But I'm just saying that's me out of the discussion. That is a true experiment, and I bet if, including Vicky, if you were going to put money on that experiment, she would probably agree.
Oh, I would agree. You're right.
Exactly.
It's just because people are freaking shallow.
But
That's why.
not everybody's going to hold those same principles. Some people are going to be like you. I'm not going to tip high if a hot person is shitty. First, I'm not going to tip them just because you're hot.
I'm the same way.
But they
I'm
have
the
to
same way.
also provide excellent service.
I
Agreed.
always give 20% for good service, no matter what the person looks like. I'm just saying that equal apples to apples service.
All right.
If it's a hot delivery girl, you may throw an extra bone or two.
Like get the digis, dog.
I'm over here. I'm just trying to stir it up. I get no dog in this fight. I just like seeing you guys go back and forth.
Can I get a new seat?
It's great. I mean, Beckett's probably right.
Oh, I know he's right. That's what's sad about it.
It doesn't make it right.
That's right. That's fine. Yeah.
All right, Dennis, give us a couple more.
All right, so super duper random, and I can't believe I've never come across this before, but from 1920 till about 1960 in Germany, there was a trend where people would pose in photos with a person in a polar bear costume. In fact, they've recovered thousands of photos that has polar bears in it. I mean, from family portraits to outings at the park. They have them they have them with Nazis, American GIs, beachgoers. That entire span, it became a gigantic trend to have a polar bear in your photo.
Why?
It's so weird. So it all started because a couple bought a pair of polar bear outfits, and they said they would never get a photo of this because photos were expensive at the time. So they would run around and try to find people that were taking photographs, and they jumped in. And then people started seeing those photos appearing, and they thought it was a trend. And they started a trend, and people started buying polar bear outfits to be polar bears in photos.
Dude,
what a weird trend.
Humans are such a weird species, man. I mean, we were talking about on the KVJ show. I feel like somebody underground goes, you know what? Let's go ahead and act like all the toilet paper is going to be gone, and let's see how they freak out. Let's just see where this experiment goes. And we bit it. We took the bait. We're an interesting species.
Well, there's that episode of Twilight Zone that you like where
Love it.
all the aliens do. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen the Twilight Zone season 2. I mean, good God, it's so old. But,
Spoil it, baby.
but anyway, so yeah, all the aliens do is imply that there's aliens, and then everyone turns on themselves. And then they sit back and they're scheming. They're like, look, all we have to do is stir it up, and they will take themselves out.
Well, we even see it at work, just how the different like some people are set like Kevin on the show, business as usual. Virginia set fucking apocalyptic.
Like, it's over.
You got me in the middle, probably. I'm like, all right, this sucks. We got to make sure but I'm also not going to, I'm not going to be so over
Still
the top.
hand sneezing.
Yeah, I'm not going to be scared. I'm still
Nice callback.
I'm still hand sneezing. I'm not wiping shit down. I'm just kind of living my life. I'm trying to be cool. I'm not trying to go out and do all that social distancing shit, or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
All those bus terms annoy the shit out of me, by the way, too. But you don't even have to have somebody with the disease. Someone could sneeze in the hallway, or somebody could cough, and people start to just make their own,
storylines.
their own storylines, and that storyline becomes the narrative.
Oh,
and
they
now
start
that narrative
spreading it.
is the truth, and you just see how all this shit happens in the news too.
Right.
Like a virus, it spreads the word.
Oh, I mean, I have so many opinions about the news coverage on this.
I bet.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not going to try to offend anybody, but I'm going to try to offend everybody. I think some networks are trying to report facts. I think some networks are trying to incite fear. I think some are trying to act like nothing's going on. And it's so much this, that, it's hard to kind of get a real gauge. Your opinion about the coronavirus is going to be different than Beckett's versus mine, because everyone's getting different news.
And what news you believe.
Some people think it's political. Some people think it's not real. In fact, one of the emails is
What is about it not being real?
It was basically just kind of, what do you guys think about all of the news coverage? You guys think this is a real thing going on, which they know it's real.
It's real. I think they're talking about
Yes.
sensationalizing the numbers.
They acknowledge that there's something going on, obviously, but they were exactly, Denny's. They were saying, is it so over the top to where should you be washing everything down to the point where you're driving yourself crazy? Vicky, your thoughts?
Well, I always wash everything down regardless of a pandemic, but I try to stay off of media as much as possible when it comes to that. My daughter, who is up on this, she sends me my morning report of how many cases in Florida and how many deaths, and that's my one little piece of information for the day, is to keep up. You know, I would like to see the information next to other information.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. I don't
Go
want this
further
in
with that.
I don't want this in isolation. I want to have a comparative. I want to see, like, I am not one of those people that says, well, a bunch of people die of flu every year. Yes, absolutely. Let me see the numbers. Let me see how many people today died from the regular flu, so I can put it in my mind how desperate of a situation this is.
Okay. For example, if you found out 450 people today died of the flu versus 110 versus the coronavirus,
Right.
You would go, all right, I'm not going to be so panicked.
Right.
I'll be safe, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it
Right.
to the point where I'm watching.
But then I would also want the data on when did they get the flu, how long did it take them to die from the regular flu, as opposed to when they got the corona and when did they pass from that. Because timeline makes a difference too, as far as how concerned I'm going to be. I would just like more data so I can decide for myself.
The other thing, too, I want to make note, because I know people are going to email us about the regular flu versus this. The experts, at least from what I've understand, they've said it's different, so it's hard to compare the regular flu to this because this virus is more contagious, it spreads quicker.
Well, but if we had the data side by side, if you say how many people contracted this or went and got a regular flu test, so from this point they had the flu, then how many people in their family? I mean, there has to be more data. I don't want my level of panic or not panic to be totally dependent on the media, because everyone has their own slant. Just give me the data.
A few emails people have asked, Vicky, being a psychic medium, what's your sense on the future of this? Do you get any feeling? Do you get any gut reaction?
To be honest, I have not been overly concerned in the long run, but
You feel like we're going to get through this, and it's. I mean, obviously, I don't say that in a cavalier way, meaning
Right.
when people die, it's always a terrible thing, because I'll get some email, Beckett, you motherfucker, you don't care. I care. I'm just saying on the
I don't
grand,
think it's reached its peak, but I think we will see a big decline after the peak. It'll be rapid after that peak.
Okay. Beckett, awfully quiet over there.
Well, I'm doing research. I'm doing a dissertation now, and data is nothing from if you don't have context around the data. To Vicky's point, she's right in that you need context around the data, and that's what journalists are supposed to do. And I think a lot of times, and this shouldn't offend anyone, no matter what network you watch, but shows like Don Lemon or Hannity or whatever, MSNBC, those are opinion shows.
Big time.
Opinion shows. When you actually see a journalist go out and do research and actually at the ER with an N95 mask, and I'm hearing the head of ER for Miami Hospital, then I listen a lot closer and carry a lot more weight with that. And when there's data, you could compare numbers today to flu to coronavirus to flu. But if you listen to what the doctors are saying, they're like, sure, there was 400 today of flu and 400 today of corona. So in a vacuum, in a silo, you'd be like, oh, well, it's not as bad. But what the doctors are saying, but yesterday it was 100 of corona. Today it's 200. Right. And now you're looking at data with trajectory and numbers, and you can see if we keep going at this rate, we would end up a 10x, 100x as to flu. So that's the data, that context. So what I do, whether it's climate change or corona or whatever, I try to listen to your point, the experts in it rather than the opinion columnists that are trying to sell more ad space on their TV show.
And look, I'm not against opinion stuff because what we do on the KVJ show, what we do here on the Weird and Whatever pod, this is opinion based. Mm-hmm. I understand that. But if you're a news network, I want the fucking news. I want the facts. I don't want your column. I don't want your opinion because it's skewed at that point.
Yeah. Give me the news as dry as possible.
Yes, I know it's not sexy. Yeah. I know we all need to hear doom and gloom or the best thing ever.
But the problem is any kind of data, you can also manipulate that.
Absolutely.
So
Vicky.
it's just like, who am I supposed to listen
that's why
to?
I'm never a big fan of those focus meetings or those focus groups because who's running the focus group? Who are you asking? How many people? Mm-hmm. What's the agenda? What questions are you asking? Are the questions leading? Mm-hmm. I know I can be led to the water if the questions are kind of biased. So it's tough to trust anything that does have numbers until you break it down to the absolute bare bones.
Right.
And that takes time and patience.
That's true, because without education and experience, it's hard to be qualified enough to interpret the data, to your point. My stepdad had prostate cancer, and he was, arguing with me about climate change. He was not so much of a believer in it. And I go, Ken, and he's a radiologist. I go, if you were tested positive and you were given a prognosis and recommendations as to what to do with your prostate cancer, would you listen to your Facebook friends, politicians, people on the news, your radiology buddies that also went to medical school, or would you go and listen to the majority opinion, a high level of consensus of the oncologist that specialize in prostate cancer? He goes, well, of course, the latter. And I was like, exactly. And I think that's the best way, not the perfect way, but the best way is to listen to the people that have spent their lifetime in education and experience dealing with this. And when you listen to what they're saying, I think that's where you'll come out the best side of it.
Denny, do you want to caboose this thing and wrap it up?
Yeah. So I just think everybody's just scared and confused because nobody knows really what's going on. Like we're saying, you can't get definitive numbers. All the numbers you get are then proven wrong or proven something else, whatever. The next day. I mean, week to week, we're learning things. These times are tough for people because there isn't really answers. But I mean, and they're talking about how this could be a seasonal thing like the flu. It kind of seems like there's a new virus out that we have no immune to, and it's going to go through a lot of people. And hopefully, they create a vaccine. And I mean, it's really just a time for everybody to kind of band together. We've always joked about how it takes something big to get everybody to band together, but weirdly, in a turn of events, I feel like it's done the exact opposite. Mm-hmm. Although, in small knit circles, like I
agree with them.
I keep in touch with some of my closer friends, but like everybody else, it feels like it's really divided everybody's opinions.
It's become political. Like being in the media, I didn't. Me and Virginia were having this discussion. I can honestly say, and I know no one's going to believe that. I get it. Me and Virginia and Kevin too. We're not political people. We really aren't. I think we react to things. If we hear something, we'll react to it, and it may sound like you're on a certain party line. But I can honestly say we really aren't political people. I think I don't want to speak for everybody. I think the combination of all of us, voted Republican and Democrat through the years back and forth. So there's nothing like there's an agenda there. So it's weird that even something like this has turned Republican, Democrat.
Yeah.
Now, not for everybody, and I do think it's also the media driving that. And it's weird. Someone even called me out saying, "Well, dude, you're in the media, and you always call it the media." Yeah, man, the media is a bunch of bitches, man. We are trying to always manipulate our own agendas. Always. That's the God's honest truth. If I've got an opinion on something, I want you to like my opinion. That's just being honest on that. You hope people are going to be truthful, but not everybody. Not everybody plays by the same guidelines. Kind of like if you're playing in major leagues and someone's using steroids and someone's not. You're both competing. And you're both trying to do the best, but there's going to be a different kind of outcome there.
Media likes to milk the teat too.
They love to milk the teat. Because that's how they make their money. It's all about their money.
That's true, but to be fair to you guys at the KVJ show, your guys' agenda is nothing else but, for the most part, the thrust of its entertainment.
That's the lead.
And that's what I mean. I want to break it down saying the agenda for the KVJ show is just to try to make people laugh or be entertained, whether you like it or not.
Right.
But sometimes we deliver, sometimes we don't. But the mission statement is just to be entertaining.
Totally.
Well, you can disagree with a headline that you hear because you're like, what? And then you don't realize there's a political agenda attached to it, too. A lot of people attach political agendas to a lot of different headlines these days. So you can find yourself in a tough pinch where people misinterpret what you're trying to say.
Whether it's us talking about meat or vegan stuff.
You bring up Beyond Meat, man. It turns into a big argument.
It's a political argument. If you talk about #MeToo, it turns into a political argument. I can go down the line, gun control, all of it. It's all political. And it's weird because are people, like normal people, are they political when they talk about that stuff? Or is the media making it, this is political? Because I know people who are Republican, and I know people who are Democrat, that they bounce between both parties on whatever issue is passionate for them.
Right, of course.
Not everyone's just a Republican and just a Democrat.
Yeah.
There's a hybrid. Not to say there's not Republican, not Democrat, but there's also a big hybrid of that, and that doesn't get reported a lot.
Yeah, because it's the people in the media, and this is my opinion, people in the media and the politicians are extreme Republicans or extreme Democrats, and they're the ones making our policy.
Yes.
Where a lot of the citizenship, like the bell curve of our population, tends to go back and forth, right?
Yeah.
But it's the people that are very far on each side that are debating policies and voting. And I agree with you. There's still a lot of division that's come up as a result, but is in terms of some promise. The Senate bill that just passed for the Corona relief bill. It's the largest bill in our history. I believe it's 2.5 trillion or something.
Yeah.
That was voted on 98-0. Basically bipartisan, not one person dissented. I don't think that's happened in the Senate in who knows how, probably since the 9/11 bill, and that's some.
I want to wrap up the Corona just because people are sick of it, and I know they don't come to us just for the Corona, but we did get a lot of emails. I appreciate that. If we want to talk more about it, we can do maybe a post thing. Vicky, you've been called out.
Okay.
Are you ready to hear? You've been called out too, Beckett. I've been called out.
I'm not ready to hear it.
Dear Weird and whatever. Why don't you guys ever talk about goblins? Are we off the air? Oh, okay. Why don't you guys ever talk about goblins? Does Vicky even know what a goblin is? Ooh, zinger there. I doubt it, they say. Any good psychic knows this kind of information. Goblins are something that the psychic world tries to glance over constantly. I bet Vicky doesn't say shit about goblins because that's what psychics do. They cover up the realization of goblins. Well, what do you have to say for yourself, Vicky? I'm waiting to hear you worm out of this answer. Diana, a real psychic who knows about goblins.
Well, go ahead and give me a call, Diana, and give me a reading, and we'll see who the real psychic is. That's number one. Number two, it depends on your definition of goblin. I probably have spoken of them because I probably lump them into the category of nature spirits and things that are not demonic, that are not human, but fall in that realm in between those two categories.
That was kind of like a psychic battle rap.
This is a good class.
Can you say that again? Do that again. Hold on. I'm going to give you...
You missed your chance.
Oh, man, I wanted you to go after Diana, the real psychic who knows about goblins. Did you ever think when you were a kid, one of the problems you would face when you
Got older.
like you're in a goblin debate with somebody?
No, but what she makes a valid point that not everybody who's a psychic medium, some psychic mediums can only see human spirits. Some of them cannot see demonic entities. They cannot see the category that I kind of lump a lot of them into, which are nature spirits, because nature spirits, there's many and varied, and there's different categories. So there are people who can't see that. That's not their thing.
Okay, so just so people know, I mean, we all know the goblin. You think goblin, oh, little creature. What is the definition of a goblin?
To me, a goblin would be in the nature spirit category whose emphasis would be to create havoc, would be to cause discourse. They don't have a good agenda.
Vicky, I can't tell you. I've dated a couple goblins. I'm not going to lie. Becky, you bang a goblin?
Would I or have I?
Never mind. Now you get called out, Becky.
Oh, God.
But what people need to look out for is somebody that claims that they know everything. Okay?
Yes.
Whenever you have someone, like it appears she is trying to do, to claim that she knows everything, that is dangerous when you get such a big head. And that's why the other day I had a reading, and the person has been trying to get in touch with their mother for a while, and they couldn't get any messages from their mother. Well, at first I was having a hard time too, but then I went and found her, and I found her in, like I've talked about, the classroom, like somebody who had something to learn on the other side. So they basically have to sit in the classroom until they've learned that, and then they can go on. But I defended the other psychic mediums that she had gotten readings from. I said, just could be that they don't see the classroom. I see the classroom. They don't. That doesn't mean they're a bad psychic medium. It means they don't see that particular thing. That's the beauty of the gifts, is that everybody's gift is unique in what you can and cannot see. And everybody has a limitation of what you can and cannot see. When I first started, I could not see demonic entities. I could not see nature spirits. I couldn't see imps. I couldn't see gnomes. I couldn't see any of those things. And as I went further in my development, then I started to bring in all those different things that I can see.
What do you call an imp that suffers from ED?
Limp.
Imp limp.
I like it.
I know you do. I know you do, Becky. All right. The title of this email. Now, I apologize. I read the email, and it made me belly laugh. It got cut off. So I'm going to read the first part of the email verbatim,
Okay.
and then I'm going to have to kind of.
Okay.
All right. And the title is "I'm Annoyed with Beckett."
Which part should I be more worried about? The part that's real or the part where you freelance?
You should be. You're gonna love this email. I'm annoyed with Beckett's the title. I loved your podcast, but I hate Beckett. It's not because he's not good on your podcast. It's because I can tell my girlfriend wants to sleep with him.
Is it a succubus?
Now, this is when it starts to get off. Basically, this is what happened. She was listening to our podcast and kept on talking about you. Mm-hmm. Ryan Beckett, Ryan Beckett, Ryan Beckett. For, I guess, all night, she kept on bringing you up, and he was getting annoyed. They end up hitting it that night, and his name is Shane, and she called him Ryan. And that's why he hates you.
Oh, man.
Vicky, what are your thoughts? Do you get why Shane hates Beckett?
Perfectly
Oh,
understandable.
you-
Especially today.
I totally get it.
I mean, if I was Shane, I would hate you so bad. You're bringing our numbers down, Beckett.
Well, no, don't you think that's good role play? Role play's fine in the bedroom.
Don't make Shane pissed, because he listens and he's like, "Oh, fuck Beckett," because now you're just taunting him.
No, I'm just saying I think he should embrace it, and he should be allowed to do the same thing.
Go on with that.
Well, he should be able to do whatever he wants to in the bedroom. It's a 50-50 equal thing, don't you think?
So he should fantasize about somebody else?
No, I get it. I'm letting Beckett just talk.
He should be allowed
Let
to.
him dig his own hole.
Oh, I bet he would love that.
He should be allowed to. I don't know. I think it's funny.
Denny's, what's your opinion on that? First of all, I'm not a big fan. This is just me, and I'm kind of old school. I get called out on this a lot. Even with celebrities, if I'm dating somebody and they're my boyfriend or girlfriend, if you're boyfriend or girlfriend, if you are constantly talking about how hot other people are, I think it's slightly
kinda annoying.
It's kind of annoying and disrespectful. It's for me anyway. If I'm dating a girl and she's constantly talking about how hot this one guy is, I'm like, well, fuck, I'm not that hot. Stop talking. Is that what you want? Keep in mind, I was raised by a lot of emotional people. So, but that's just, Vicky, what are your thoughts? If you're constantly doing that.
Constantly? No, it's not right.
Constantly is definitely wrong.
Yeah.
Constantly is definitely wrong. But I believe that a healthy relationship is secure enough where you can say, hey, like, as a guy, I'm like, that guy's an attractive guy, or that girl's an attractive girl.
It's different. Okay, for example, I'm not gay. So if I'm talking about how Beckett's good looking, that's not a threatening statement to say. Now, if I had a girlfriend, I'm like, producer Birdney is so hot. I mean, I find her so attractive. And I had a girlfriend, that is a threatening situation compared to Beckett's a hot dude. Because my girlfriend would know I'm not trying to bang you. Birdney would actually be a legit threat.
Yeah. Well, because you guys work together. Like,
We're basically quarantined right now.
Right, but I'm saying, like, if someone was like, oh, I saw this girl in this movie and she was really hot, like, you know, after a movie. You know
I
what
get
mean?
it. Yeah, I don't think that that's bad. I'm talking about I don't know.
Well, just
We're-
this whole thing would turn around if it was the woman. If everything were reversed and it was the woman and he said somebody else's name, shit would get real then. It
For
would be
sure.
a completely different scenario.
I guess for me, I think I'm just at there's a thing with me, if I'm with somebody, I just like to make them think they're the hot potato.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
I think that's important to do.
I do too, and I know I'm going to get emails now saying, oh, Bird, you sound insecure. Motherfuckers, humans are insecure. Stop acting like people aren't insecure, like it's a disease you catch. Humans are insecure people because situations make them insecure.
That's true. That's fair.
Yeah, of course.
So you're not into role play?
I definitely am in a role. I love role play.
Could you role play as Beckett?
Oh my gosh! If the girl said, Bird, I want you to act like Beckett, I would be so mad at that chick. I would be so annoyed with her. Well, the whole time. Well, you would know when I'd finish because I'd go. That's when you know I've
Yes.
succumbed.
Would you be mad if that laugh worked for her?
Yeah, man. Maybe that's why I got relationship issues. I'm set old school. I think you should respect the person and make them think that they're the one.
They should be made to feel so secure that
Yes.
if you comment on someone, they don't care. They find it funny.
That's
and-
exactly it. You
Yeah.
can say someone's hot, but it should be already
Totally.
that you exactly.
You had to build that foundation before you're able to do that.
And I think that's a great point to trust and loyalty and having someone's back.
Well, here's the thing. There's always going to be someone better looking.
Always.
Always going to be better someone. Like I'm the most, because there's a difference between, I believe, thinking someone's really hot and being attracted to them, right? You know, there's a big difference,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Because I can find a guy attractive, but I'm heterosexual. But, you know,
So we've heard. Is that the third time?
Keep saying it.
Is that the third time he said that?
I think it's a second.
Brittany's put in air quotes.
I lost my train of thought.
Yeah, you're saying there's a difference between somebody being hot or somebody being attractive.
When I've been really in love, like they may not be the hottest person I've ever seen, but I'm the most attracted to that person that I've ever been, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that keeps me, yeah, I won't take my whole any further.
I want to get Birdney over here just because Birdney, as the producer, you've been laying back, you've been hearing all. No, you can. Yeah, you can. Let's get her on camera.
Yeah. While she's coming over, I just want to say, Shane, if you are in the chat room, everything where it was Vicky versus Beckett, vote for me, please.
Vicky, Birdney, we've had a few spats today. Any kind of final thoughts to wrap up the podcast that you'd like to get your opinion on? We know Beckett was talking some crazy shit you were shaking your head to.
Which part?
I mean, there was a
All of
lot.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Get him.
I mean, I guess earlier when we were talking about the tipping, hashtag just a tip, that I unfortunately have to agree with Beckett because I do think that realistically, the world does work that way.
Yeah.
That attractive people have always had the upper hand in situations. Do any of us personally do that? I don't think so. I think that
Other than Becky.
Besides
yeah,
Beckett,
he
yeah.
does.
I mean, I care more about the service than how good you are. If someone is good looking or they're not as good looking and they still serve the same, I'm probably going to tip them
Totally.
the same, unless I want to date them.
Well, that's just it. But to your point, let's just say you're in a situation.
Be honest.
You're lonely. You're horny. The person's being friendly. You're not going to tip them a little extra more if you're attracted to them.
I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, my largest tip has probably been for a guy that gave me amazing service. He brought over, it was
For
this
a guy?
Italian, but I'm heterosexual.
Your biggest tip was for a guy.
He gave us a free bottle of wine because we had to wait at the when we first got there, blah blah blah, and he took care and comped some of our stuff, and I tipped over the top for that service. I just know, in terms of being honest, like it's some tips I may have left at Twin Peaks before. And
Are you getting paid by Twin Peaks? 'Cause I didn't get the memo that we're sponsored by them. I'm not getting paid by Twin Peaks.
I don't. You gotta help the servers nowadays. All the restaurants are closed.
All right, what else you got, Birdie? Birdie's hot takes.
Oh, yeah. And I think on the topic of when you're dating someone attractive, to kind of segue into that, I think if you aren't really trusting, and I get what Bird was saying, is that like if you are with someone who's very attractive, there are times when you're going to have that self-doubt, but you almost have to have an internal dialogue with yourself and go, okay, if I am feeling this way, what's behind it? Am I not trusting as much? Is it something from my past I need to address? Because at the end of the day, I mean, you have really your parents to thank for how you look. You can make yourself work out and put on makeup or whatever, do yourself up.
Mm-hmm.
But the person really doesn't have control of how
They look
came out. Yeah.
or what they have.
It's kind of, I've always found it a funny compliment to say like, wow, you're really good looking, because besides just, doing like staying healthy and cleaning yourself, like,
Right.
thanks, I did nothing. I
You're
just
right.
was born, and you can thank my parents, I guess. Like,
So, all you small penis people out there, it's not your fault. Blame your parents.
we all do. Somewhere there's something we blame our parents for.
I totally agree with her. Internal dialogue is extremely important, but I've dated
Or important.
important. Certainly.
It's important.
Certainly. Oh my God. Internal dialogue's extremely important, but I've dated girls that have kept it only internal. And if it's never external dialogue, then I never learn and I never know. And sometimes those conversations are uncomfortable. But what I've always said is, I go, listen, if I did something that annoyed you and I did it and you told me about it and I did it a second time, then you have a right to be extremely mad at me. Mm-hmm. But if this is the first time that I'm learning, you got to give me a little bit of a pass and communicate that to me. And maybe I was the a-hole in doing it, but then I can be like, whoa, you're right. And you explain to me how it made you feel.
Well, yeah, I mean, a big part of this podcast, just so you guys know, listening, we want to tackle the important issues.
Willy important.
All right, Bertie, you got anything else? How are you doing with everything? We talked last week about how and again, I don't want to try to corona everybody. How you doing with everything?
I mean, I'm kind of the same. I'm trying to, when we were talking about news sources, I was talking about how I've just kind of been sticking with the data, which is just the math, and kind of looking at how that's happening, just because there are a lot of opinions going back and forth. But the one thing that really stays true is the numbers. Mm-hmm. Like, you can have an opinion about the numbers, but I'm kind of looking at it from that point. And I think, I've just been staying at home playing games, but, I see my medical profession friends on their feeds, like, they're saying it's real, stay at home. Mm-hmm. And, I think I'm more, concerned about when are things going to get back to normal. Mm-hmm. It's kind of surreal. And I guess my advice for anyone who also suffers from anxiety is just take it a day at a time. Like, I wake up and go, what am I going to do today? Because when I start thinking out into the future and how long is this going to be, who's this going to affect, that's when I really get down on myself, and really there's nothing I can do about it. It's just stressing me. So
yeah, that's because you're an empathic person. right? So empathic people like take a lot on their shoulders. So that probably adds to anxiety. Anyone that's empathic because they're worried and feel for people.
You know what I do sometimes, Birdney, when I get a little freaked out or a little anxious? I sing a song, even if I'm by myself. Like the other night, I was getting a little anxious. I lay down in my bed, try to clear my throat because I'm about to sing it. And I don't know if you ever heard this song before, but it made me feel better after I sang it. I can't make you love me if you don't. And I felt better, Beckett.
That's because you're singing to the ghost. That's Succubus.
They're giving them mixed signals.
Oh, that Succubus likes me a lot, Vicky.
Well, speaking of songs, didn't you have the TP song?
We do have the TP song. Good, Beckett.
Segue.
Yeah. Let's not forget about that.
I do want to end the podcast on a fun, weird, not fun for this person. They're legit asking us if they've got issues here. So I want to get everyone a little round table thing. The title is, I have sex dreams about my brother. I keep having sexual dreams about my brother. I wake up and I'm grossed out and horny at the same time. What does this mean, Anonymous in Jupiter?
I would say there's probably something else in their life that they want that they can't have or it's not appropriate to have. I don't think it's technically about having sex with their brother. It's another not being able to attain something.
Totally. I had a dream. It involved my brother. It was weird. It's about power, Beckett. So don't. And there was something else going on there. Your take on that?
I think she should just do what Shane's girlfriend did and just channel it a different direction.
Birdney, does this person have issues?
I mean, kind of like what I think we all agreed that they have issues. If there's something that they're like, if they're
are they a
thinking
deviant?
No, I think it could be psychological. Although I do have a question, and this may segue, which I've always been curious about. When we talk about sexual fantasies, like I've always been weirded out by the fact there's a lot of stepbrother, stepsister stuff out there. Is that related to this?
Birdney, there's not only stepbrother, stepsister. There's
Mom.
actually like legit. I mean, they're not really related, but the storyline is the taboo kind of fetish world out there where it's the brother seducing the sister seducing the dad, or the cousins. It is one of the highest growing porn things people are into. That is one of them. Cuckolding, another one that's on the uprise. So my theory on all that is, back in the day, porn was not regular or regularly available for everybody. You can go on your phone now that everybody has, and everybody can go and get free porn just like that. Back in the day, you had to hide in a trench coat and buy your porn and hide out. It's so easy now. So I think when people get so exposed to something, it starts to become commonplace, and you start to numb your thoughts a little bit. What turned you on before no longer turns you on because you are constantly seeing that. And look, the whole sexual, anything sexual, it's kind of like a drug feeling, and I feel like there's a euphoric feeling going on there. And if you are constantly chasing something almost like a drug, I could see how missionary turned you on in the beginning and now something else does not, because you are constantly doing that.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
That could become a real problem, though, in the future for marriages.
It's a big problem. In fact, I know somebody who watches so much porn that their sex life was so destroyed because they were off different schedules, and because this person was masturbating to 10s all the time, and maybe their mate wasn't a 10, and they had a hard time actually getting it up.
Yikes.
Yeah, no, it's and the research backs that up too. That's starting to happen because it's so available.
Right.
Well, I think humans can get numb to stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look at ER doctors. Like, I always tell my friends, I'm like, how do they deal with all that blood and gore and stuff like that? And what my friends that are doctors tell me, like, you're in med school and it's shocking at first, but then
it's shocking at first, and then you start to and look, the data doesn't lie on that.
Yeah,
you're talking about data earlier.
Yeah.
Vicky, your thoughts? Awfully quiet.
I just think anything that is forbidden becomes more attractive.
You're right about that
And the
too.
more out there and creative they get with the porn, the more people can exercise through that. Because, I mean, let's just say most of our society is not going to act out those things unless they're by themselves.
It's something that's more of a taboo that
Right.
turns the spirit on,
Right.
or the whatever
it's
you want
the
to call
forbidden aspect of it that they probably can't do that in real life. Let's go ahead and start up the computer.
And people have a hard time admitting that they like forbidden fruit. That means you are there's some kind of weakness there, and some people don't
We're
like.
human beings.
You're human. You're gonna like a forbidden fruit.
I think the in my opinion, this might not be the silver bullet for it, but in relationships, people should do things together, right? So if you want to watch porn, then it doesn't always have to be together, but it should be something that you guys do and talk about and enjoy together. Because if it becomes just your thing, it's going to stay your thing. So I think that people need to experiment, and if they have the desire to experiment, with each other. And I think that that's a healthier way, maybe not healthy, but a healthier way.
Just moderation.
Yeah.
You know, everything in moderation.
That's true.
Like,
Even moderation.
You eat too much cheese, it's gonna be bad.
Right.
You don't eat any cheese, it's gonna be bad.
You can work out too much, you know? Like there's a problem about
What, Becky?
yin and yang.
Yeah.
All right, we've been going for a while. We wanted to give you guys a little bit extra content today just because we know our schedule has been wonky. We know you guys are out there quarantined. I want to thank everybody for listening to the Weird and Whatever podcast and supporting us. Anytime you guys put the comments down, it really helps us out a lot, just in all aspects. So if you guys could, when the YouTube video uploads, leave us a comment. Let us know your opinions on any of the subjects here. Let us know between Vicky and Beckett. Vicky really went after Beckett today. I went after Beckett on the whole tipping thing. Was it the tipping thing we were on?
Tipping and the sneezing thing.
The sneezing, that's what it was. The sneezing. Are you with Beckett and Denny's? Do you sneeze in your hand or in your elbow or your hands with me and Vicky? Good Lord, Jaybird. Oh my God, I've been talking all
Yeah, well, think
fucking
about
day.
it. Yeah.
I'm tired. Sorry.
Yeah.
Go.
No, I was gonna say they make hand sanitizer, not
Yeah, not elbow sanitizer.
That elbow sanitizer.
What a smooth ending this is. All right, guys.
always.
Keeping it weird.
Ending this shit. We love you all. Stay safe, and Bigfoot is real.
Make sure to like.
Yes.
Where's the song? There it is.
Is this TP?
What's up?
Is this the TP song?
Walk over
I
to
love
my
it. It's
neighbors.
great.
I was pooping, didn't realize I had no more toilet paper. My neighbors didn't have any rolls for me, so I took my stinky butt down to the grocery. When I walked in, what did I see? People fighting over the last roll of TP. All I wanna do is poop in peace and sit on my toilet and get some relief. Because it really sucks when you can't properly clean your butt. I'm thinking about using my dad's t-shirt. Sorry, Dad, but I got a case of Hershey Squirt. I tell you, it really sucks when you can't properly clean your butt. Gotta clean your butt. Went back to my house, what could I use? I found an old pair of my brother's Reebok shoes. But I think my brother's shoes might be too big. I'd be better off wiping with my grandma's wig. And if that don't work, I'll use a pizza box. And if that don't work, I'll use my sister's socks. I'm a desperate man, these are desperate times. I even had to use